This segment is sponsored by Dennis Goins of DennisGoins.com. I'm Lady Charmaine, and I'm here today with financial advisor Dennis Goins of Dennis Goins and Associates. How you doing today, Dennis?
I'm doing fine, Lady Charmaine. How are you?
Good. And today we're going to be talking about knowing your number, which is your new consumer. What is the new consumer credit protection? That's what we're talking about today. So let's talk a little bit about that. Why is it important for us to know our number?
Absolutely. Well, there's been some new laws, Charmaine, that's come out here recently regarding your credit and some of the protection. And sure, pretty much recently, you typically had to pay to see your credit score, not your credit report. You typically had to pay to see your credit score. And that has changed as a result of an initiative by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. In February, it announced that more than 50 million Americans now have free access to their credit scores through their credit card companies. So that's something new and very important. And also, in more good news for consumers, the three major credit reporting agencies agreed to change the way it perceives some of the errors and correcting some of the errors that you have in negative reports on your and late payments on your credit report. So that's some good information that's come about. And as we all know, your credit profile can make a big difference in your financial life, not only for major purchases such as your home or your car, but also for college loans, credit card terms, and insurance premiums. So it can come into play even when you're trying to get a job or rent an apartment. So as we all know, your credit score and your credit report is pretty important. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, definitely, because that's the first thing they're going to look at. It's funny how we don't realize the moment that we were born with the number. We have a social security number, and then our credit card number also plays a part of our life too. Basically, our credit history and who we are and what do we pay our bills. So it's funny how we're based upon numbers, our birth dates, our social security numbers, and also our credit. So yes, I think it's very important.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things I always used to kid my daughters on before they started dating is know his name, but also understand what his FICO score is. That's very, very important before you start getting involved with it. We used to always kid them about that. But so obviously, the next time that you receive your monthly credit card statement, look for that credit score on your statement. If you don't see it, then call online and ask your credit card company to give you that free credit score. That's something new that just come out, and that's very important to know how that is what you receive there. And as I mentioned, the FICO score is pretty much the favorite one, and the FICO score can be a low of 300 all the way up to a high of 850. And it's important to know pretty much where you lay on that peripheral. So what is a good score? And in 2013, the credit reporting agency set up with some cool parameters as far as what's a good score and what's a bad score. So if you have a 720 or higher FICO score, that you consider to be what they call super prime. And if you have a 660 to 719 FICO score, you consider prime. And if you have a 620 to 659, that's a core subprime FICO score. And of course, if you have under 620, then you have a deep subprime FICO score. And it's estimated that about 65% of Americans have either a 660 or higher credit score. So that's important to know pretty much where you stay. And of course, in March of 2005, there's a settlement with the state of New York City and the three major credit reporting agencies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And they agreed to changes that provide more leverage and flexibility for the consumers. And although the settlement is it for the state of New York, these changes hope to be implemented nationally over the next 6 to 39 months. And what are some of the focuses of these changes is reports and disputes. Heretofore, anything that a credit company or lender put in your credit report, it was kind of hard to defend that. So the consumer basically in 2000, since 2005, they could get one free credit report annually each from the three major reporting agencies. You could always get that free report. But under the new agreement, consumers who have a dispute in their report, they can get an additional second report free within that 1 year time. And also, the credit reporting agencies have agreed to have more trained personnel to examine the disputes for both the consumer and the lender and make a decision based on the evidence. In the past, the agency, as I mentioned, examined the documents from the consumers, but generally accepted pretty much what the lender said. So of all the disputes that were presented, only 15% of them were resolved on the consumer's behalf. So now they're going to make it more even keel and hopefully have where the consumer can have more of an influence. And more important here was the medical debt. About 43 million Americans have past due medical debt on their reports, and that's often due to difficulties with the insurance company or the strain of paying a large lump sum. The credit reporting agencies now have to wait 180 days before adding medical debt to their credit report. And in addition, they must remove the medical debt from your report when the debt has been paid by the insurance company. So that's important to know. I mean, you can go to have a medical situation and the insurance company is supposed to pay, but that's still on your credit report until the insurance company pays it off, and that obviously wasn't fair. And more importantly, if you have a dispute, you want to be able to have fair and equal treatment, and some of the laws here are more consumer protection oriented, and that's important. So, what are some of the things you can do to improve your score? If your score is lower than what you expect or think you deserve, the first step you should do is obviously get that credit report from each one of the agencies. And this is important in order to get your free credit report annually. And we talked about this before about some of these agencies that supposedly say you get a free credit report, but then again, after you know that, you're giving them your credit card number, and next thing you know, you're getting charged for some credit monitoring service. This is the agency, this is the website that you should go to get your free credit report, no strings attached. That website is annualcreditreport.com. Annualcreditreport.com is where you can get the free credit report each year without any strings attached. Or you can call them at 877-322-8228. That's 877-322-8228. And if you find any inaccurate information on that report, you should contact the agency in writing and, of course, provide copies of any corroborating documents and ask for an investigation. The new rules allow you pretty much fair treatment now for that investigation. And these are some of the things that you should hope to do to improve or maintain your score. Use at least one major credit card regularly and pay that account on time. You can set up automatic payments that add to help you to avoid any missed payments. And if you do miss a payment, which, things happen, contact the lender and bring your account up to date as soon as possible. And, of course, keep balances low on credit cards and other revolving debt that's like your Macy's and Sears cards. And don't max out your available credit. That impacts your FICO score, your credit score. And don't open and close multiple accounts within a short period of time. That activity also can impact your FICO score. So see, these are some of the new things that's coming about that have started. It seems like they're more consumer oriented and protect you, but it's important to know what your credit score is. In addition to your credit report, your credit score is. You can get that from your credit card company now. That's something new that's coming about. And, of course, get that free credit report at the annualcreditreport.com or call that number. And some of the other things that we talked about focusing. Because your credit is very important in all the things that you do.
I want to just thank you so much, Dennis. That information was really, really good. And if people wanted to reach you just real quickly, where can they find you?
They can find me at my email address at dennis@dennisgoins.com, and, of course, my website, www.dennisgoins.com. And, of course, they can contact me on Facebook at Dennis Goins and Associates. And, of course, my YouTube, Dennis Goins and Associate, and LinkedIn, Dennis Goins and Associate. So we got that whole social media thing covered. So.
See, that's good. Obviously, you up to date in the 2015, so you got everything going. So no one has no excuse where you cannot reach Mr. Dennis Goins and just get some valuable information also on investments. Again, I look forward to talking to you next week.
Very good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening. If you would like to learn more about financial investments, contact Dennis Goins at dennisgoins.com.